Welcome back, everyone, to our channel. I'm Stoner.
And I'm Lush.
Stoner and Lush, man. Today we're going to be talking about Spaceballs, 1987.
Spaceballs.
Directed by Mel Brooks, written by Mel Brooks, Thomas Meehan, and Ronnie Graham.
And starring Mel Brooks. John Candy.
Rick Moranis and Bill Pullman.
And Bill Pullman.
Just to name a few, because there's a lot of stars in this film. This is just making fun of mostly Star Wars, but there is some Star Trek in there and some other little things.
Wait, where's the Star Trek at?
Star Trek?
Yeah.
When they beam up President Scroob, like the beaming, and then he gets his head gets turned around.
He gets mangled, yeah.
Yeah. Then the Vulcan neck pinch. It's
right.
Supposed, like the Vulcan is from Star Trek. Like I didn't really watch Star Trek, but I know at least those things are from Star Trek.
Right. Yeah. I forgot about those. And I think that's what pisses Star Wars people off, because typically Star Wars and Star Trek people are fighting against each other. But
yeah, I'm definitely on Team Star Wars.
I've been a fan of both, so But yeah, one of the best spoofs. I mean, Mel Brooks was like the king of making spoofs back in the day.
Yes.
He's just done an amazing thing with making spoof movies. And this was one of the best. And this was during John Candy's reign of being a very popular actor at the time, Bill Pullman actually wasn't very popular when this came out. That's why he's not on the cover. That's why they didn't put his name up on there, blah, blah, blah. Although he became a big actor afterwards. He wasn't at the time, so they kept it with the names that they knew people would go to the theater to see at the time. Yeah. Like Rick Moranis, Mel Brooks, John Candy. Those being the three biggest names they knew that would get people in the seats. But, Bill Pullman does a fantastic job as Lone Star.
Called me an idiot? I'm going back there and explain a few things to her.
He does. Very, very funny. Yeah, I enjoy this one. I've enjoyed it ever since I was a kid, and it's just so good. Like it's like Family Guy, kind of like hits each point in a way,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's
like
just,
when they're combing the desert and he's like getting combs out, he's like, is this what they mean? He's like, that's what he said, combing the desert. It's what we're doing. And then you get the black guys with the afro pick.
We ain't found shit.
It's like, oh, it's so culturally I cannot speak. Culturally inappropriate. That's hard to say. We can keep that in there. Don't worry about that.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
But there's some things I guess you couldn't get away with today, but hey, you could back then. Let's go.
George Lucas was okay with Mel Brooks doing the spoof on Star Wars. His only condition was not to have any merchandise because it would look too much like Star Wars merchandise.
Yep. Which is exactly why they put the scene of the merchandise in the movie.
Spaceballs, the flamethrower! The kids love this one.
Right.
That was the only reason that scene was put in.
And it's funny because the merchandise, that Spaceballs, is actually Transformer merchandise. It's so funny. I'm like, oh shit, it is. I absolutely adore Rick Moranis for this role because he really was kind of like the glue that kind of held this movie together. He was the one that suggested John Candy for Barf. Mel Brooks says he was a pain in the ass, but he really wasn't a pain in the ass. He just wanted to do several takes, and you do it this way and I'll do it this way. And he just had so many good ideas for input in this film. But I have to say, the one scene where he's playing with his dolls, that wasn't in the script, and that was completely ad-libbed. And I was like, man, that is so good. Like I was like, chef's kiss. Amazing.
Yeah. You can't just write genius like that. It just comes with certain people.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it just kind of flowed. Like that whole thing was improv. It's like, oh, your helmet is so big. ready to give Vespa back her old nose. And then the one sexy nurse leaves, and then Rick Moranis is like, oh,
Bet she
but
gives
gets
great
helmet.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks had trouble playing Yogurt because the gold makeup that he wore gave him a rash, and he had to be on his knees, which he had knee pads, but being that old and trying to walk on his knees, he's like, he didn't complain, but it was like very grueling for him to continue it. And he made a joke that was so funny. He made a joke saying, well, if Gene Wilder didn't leave me and go and do his own movies, he would have been Yogurt. There is another ad-lib scene with John Candy when they crash into the desert and Barf goes to get up, but he still has his seatbelt on. And he goes, oh, that's going to leave a mark. That was ad-libbed. I thought that was super duper cute. And I loved how in John Candy, when he played Barf, he had a battery pack on his back the entire shooting. He had a little mechanical thing in his paw to wag his tail. And each ear was one person here and one person here controlled it. So, yeah, they actually had 3 people be Barf, pretty much. Wow. The escape pod scene is like when the little pod comes out of like the lady's crown. That was unused clips from 1977's A New Hope, Star Wars. Lucas gave that to him.
Wow. Okay.
Right? I thought that was interesting. I was like, dang it. I mean, it kind of looks like it's the graphics or 70s, but it's like 80s, so you really wouldn't know too much.
It's hard to tell the difference, yeah.
Right. I thought that was really interesting. I was like, damn, that's true.
Well, that's George Lucas being a good sport about you making fun of his movie,
Yeah. Oh, and this is another thing. There's another Star Wars that the Millennium Falcon makes an appearance.
When?
Which didn't know that. Yeah. Okay.
When?
I'm going to tell you. So.
Yeah.
So when they go to the diner and the guy from Alien, the actual guy from Alien, has the alien pop out of his stomach.
It is.
Yeah, that is the same guy. Oddly enough, he did not get paid for that. But anyway, that's a whole nother fun fact in itself.
Yeah, he did it for free.
He did it for free, yes. But when they go to the diner, like the camera pans on like the little parking lot.
Right, yeah.
And you can see like right at the top, like at this one spot where the Millennium Falcon is. And I'm like, holy shit, it's right there. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty fucking rad.
I'll have to look for that the next time I watch it for sure.
Lauren Yarnell, who played the body of Dot Matrix, which for years I thought it was mechanical because of the wheels that she would have when she would like roller skated along. I thought maybe it was a mechanic. No, it was a real lady in there. And it got to be 120 degrees in there. And every few minutes they had to fan her off. They made 6 Dot Matrix suits and went through every single one of them. The original title for this was supposed to be Planet Moron. But the Brits have a space movie from 1985 called Morons from Outer Space. And Mel Brooks felt like they would get confused. So they eventually settled on Spaceballs.
Well, I think maybe what would have happened, people would think it was like a sequel to that one at the time.
Probably, or something like that. Steve Martin was the original choice for Colonel Sanders in the movie. I mean, the actor who plays it, he did a fine job, but
yeah. He's no Steve Martin.
He's no Steve Martin. Spaceballs was actually made into a book, and I think there was like a little TV series at one time, but I'm not even going to get into that. But the books were written by R.L. Stine, the guy that used to make the Goosebumps.
Oh, yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Goosebumps later. Okay.
The Goosebump guy.
All right.
The doctor makeout scene. Rick Moranis says, "Go back and work on your putts." And he has like the golf and the caddy there with him. But I didn't know that putts is actually Yiddish and Hebrew slang for penis.
Dick. Hacker. Private. A Roger. A loved one. A joystick. Dong. Zipper lizard. Tallywhack and trouser snake schlong.
It's a slang for a wang. But Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks were originally thought to play Lone Star.
Oh, no. I mean, maybe Tom Hanks at the time could have done it.
No.
But Tom Cruise would have been too serious.
Too serious, yeah.
He wouldn't have. I don't think I could have taken that role as comedic with Tom Cruise doing it. I'm sorry, it just doesn't come across like that, especially at that time frame of his career.
Richard Kamen, who played Pizza the Hut, was burned during filming because they had actual pepperoni, and Mel Brooks said it was actual pizza on there, but I also heard there was pancake batter poured on to make it look more like, runny, drippy cheese. But in order to have this stuff run and constantly like melt, there had to be a wire attached underneath the suit the guy was wearing. And he caught on fire a little bit. And he couldn't talk because he had all the stuff on him. And he's like, rah, 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 and then the smoke started to come out. And then they looked and saw that, oh shit. So he didn't get back in the suit after that. He kind of refused. But that big yeah, I mean, I'd probably be like, no, I'm not doing that.
Back in a death trap. You kidding me?
Asshole.
No, thank you.
One more take.
She scores.
Well, when I think of Mel Brooks, I think of perfection, because he's really good at attention to detail.
Yeah.
And I personally feel that this is one that I could always laugh at. So I'm going to give it pretty high. I'm going to give it a 3.9.
I agree with you. It has longevity. I can rewatch this over and over again while being a massive Star Wars fan and still enjoy this every single time I watch it. The same as the Family Guy ones like we just did.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 3.9 as well. It's fantastic, and I couldn't have asked for anything better for a great Star Wars spoof. Love it, and love that John Candy was available to be in it because
I agree.
We love John Candy. He's great,
especially in the little dog suit. You just want to snuggle and just cuddle them.
I know, knowing that someone else was moving his ears and he had a little thing to move his tail. He's always whacking people in the face with that. I
like when he gets all pissed off.
Like snaps Bill Paul right in the face.
Yeah. And he's like, then he's pulling the hair out of his mouth, and he gets all pissed off. We're dumping the luggage.
I mean, there's so many good lines in this movie too. Like when they do the ludicrous speed, and he's like, "My brains are in my feet." Like. So many great one-liners that you just fly by. Oh my gosh. So if you guys haven't seen this movie, please go watch it. And of course, if you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. And please leave us a comment. Tell us your favorite scene in that movie. And wait till next time when we actually hit up, finally, that's right, the real Star Wars, A New Hope. Only A New Hope to start. If it does well, we'll do the rest. But that's up to you guys. So until then. Bye.
We had a wonderful bunch of folks, talented people, great cast. It was a great experience. So may the Schwartz be with you.